I'm joined on the couch with the Honourable Lynn McLaren. Welcome to the couch.
Good morning.
I'm very excited to have you here. Obviously, the political parties are all up in the news right now, but I would really like to get a bit more of understanding of the Greens Party. Can you tell me a little bit about the key policies that we're starting to see the Greens really speak up about these days?
I think the Greens are most well known for our clean energy policies. We are one of the only political parties that are committed to action on climate change. And one of the most important things to do is to reduce our dependence on coal and increase solar, wind, wave, alternative energies.
Beautiful.
So that's really our core policy, because it's so important to saving the planet and protecting the future for future generations.
Absolutely.
But we really do stand out for caring for people. So our policies, compassionate policies towards refugees, towards lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are really important for voters in this election. Not just those groups, which are small groups of people really, but all those people who are missing out because the big parties have their own agendas. So if you're talking about small farmers, if you're talking about people who are disadvantaged by being on a low income, the Greens policies are really trying to look after them. Even if you look at how we delivered Dentacare in the last term of the Australian government, is a great example of looking after people in an area that the major parties have just ignored.
Just not gone for. Okay. And so we are seeing a shift in general. The polls are showing that people are, if anything, just tired of those two major parties and are looking elsewhere. And I think that's where Greens people are starting to ask more questions. Why do you think it is that differentiates you guys from the other two, and why they're tired of their ranting?
I think the Greens have always done things differently. We care about we're a values-based party. And it's not to say that Liberal or Labour people don't have values. It's just to say that we rose out of people being overlooked. And so those values that people cared about were not being reflected in the decision-making of government. So the Greens did rise up. My own interest in it came because the Greens were interested in helping animals, you know, helping activists who were concerned about cruelty to animals.
Live export.
Exactly, stopping live exports. And Democrats and the Greens were the two parties who heard that message and were prepared to take it to the Parliament so that it could be considered in the decision making. So I think if people feel ignored or left out, then the Greens offer an opportunity for you to be heard in the Parliament, first of all, because we represent the community. We have a commitment to participatory democracy. And that's something that's different from the major parties.
Difference.
You know.
It really is. And so sustainable jobs is something I really wanted to talk about as well. I think that's a bit of a problem that people have with Greens, is that they think, well, we rely so much, especially on a state level, on our mining industries. So if we're turning towards a more sustainable future, what does that mean towards jobs and income earning for families?
It's about sustainability. You nailed it right on the head. And the Greens believe that it's not sufficient to just dig it up and ship it out, as we say, dig it up and ship it out. So our manufacturing industry and our small business has suffered due to this over-dependency on one sector, the resource sector. And while those jobs are good now, that phase will end when we've already seen in WA the construction phase ending in mining and it moving into production and just shipping out. It's not sustainable long-term jobs, and it's also not adding value to our economy.
To our own economy.
So it's a once-off really benefit. And what we're talking about is employing people in things like renewable energy, where you've got solar, you know, the installation of solar panels, the creation of a solar city out in Kalgoorlie, which is another fabulous idea from the Greens, to create a massive solar plant out using the power from the sun.
It'd be beautiful. Got so much sunshine.
Exactly. Lots of jobs in that. So there are lots of jobs. It's just doing it differently. And it's really propaganda to say that we're not going to have jobs
Yep.
if you go green.
Definitely, yep.
We'll have, you know, innovative, exciting, creative jobs that are sustainable long into the future.
Definitely. And then finally, just a little bit of time, I do want to touch on equal marriage rights, which is a huge thing in the media right now. It means a lot to people's hearts, or doesn't mean anything at all, and it's just time for a change and don't really care about it. I know that the Greens are really focusing on this. Can you tell me a bit about what Greens would like to see happening with equal marriage rights?
Greens are 100% committed to seeing marriage equality for all Australians. It's just not fair to have your brothers and sisters be able to participate in that ritual, that standing in society, and to not have that yourself.
Yep.
It sends a bad message to young people when they're growing up that they're different and that they should be discriminated against. So having marriage equality is not just for those people who are LGBTI in that community, it's for their families. And that's why the overwhelming number of Australians support marriage equality, because they can see it's a compassionate policy about accepting and including people in society and letting them live their lives how they want to. If they want to marry, then we should support that. It's a wonderful campaign to be in, and I know that every Green senator who gets a chance to champion it is warmly appreciated by all generations. It's a beautiful campaign, and it's delightful to see that some of the major party members are coming alongside. But they're taking way too long. I mean, you see, the rest of the world has embraced it. 14 countries.
I know, it's time
already.
for it to go.
Yeah, even our own neighbours.
Absolutely, in New Zealand.
So I think it's an idea that's time has come.
Yeah.
And the longer that we drag it out, the more difficult it is for young people who can see this overt discrimination.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we embrace it and we're completely committed to it.
Ready for it. Well, let's find out more about your policies. What we can do is head to the Couch website, thecouch.com.au. Lynn, thank you very much for coming onto the Couch today. It's been wonderful to get a little bit more light on what the Greens are representing.
Thanks, Cara.